Welcome to the Man of Thought, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. How are you all doing? Let me wait a little while to see if some of my audience are going to be joining me today. I would have loved to stream from the StreamYard, but I'm trying to figure out a few things. At this moment, I make a decision to come on YouTube. Today, we are discussing that Nigerian men are not special. That's the conversation we are going to be having today. And I just want to give out a few couple of minutes for my audience to join me. Please, hopefully those who are going to join me, they are going to like it, they are going to subscribe, and let's grow the channel and let's see what today has for us. I think that would be either Rusty. I haven't seen the picture, but I've seen one like, and I know Rusty has become one of my number one fans, so I would presume it is Rusty, but I could be wrong. So thanks for those who are joining me. Please, if you're joining me, double tap your screen and show some like. Okay, Eye of Creator. Oh, thanks for joining. Good morning, or good afternoon, actually. Thanks for joining. I wanted to continue from where I stopped yesterday. I tried my best yesterday night, but I'm still going to try it today. I tried to add you as one of the moderators, but when I type I off, I'm trying to see if there's a mistake somewhere. I use I off, and it brings out the list of other names, but I'm not seeing I of creator. So maybe one of the things I'll be doing is using my laptop rather than using my phone, because probably using my phone is it's kind of not giving me exactly what I need. So I will use my laptop to add it up. That's what I most likely will be doing. So today, I'm waiting for a few moments for the audience to join me, those who want to join me live. And the conversation is why Nigerian men are not special. It's just a continuation of the conversation we had yesterday. Good morning, Rusty. Didn't get notification. I just came up live. This is just 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes about 5 minutes before it starts notifying others that I'm live. Thanks for joining. Good afternoon. Seeing each other as you went live. LOL. Yeah, I actually tried to add creator to be part of the moderators, but it was not possible. So I would be using my laptop to do that later today. So this conversation at the moment is about how why Nigerian men are not special. And I am a Nigerian, and I just want to give a little bit of insight to this conversation. And let's see where the conversation would lead to. If you're struggling to mod creator, click on his name, and I think it shows there. Okay, can I try it here? Let me see if I can do it here. Okay. Yes, I've been able to do that. I've been able to do that. You know, about yesterday, I was doing it through StreamYard. I was trying to go through StreamYard, so it was a little bit difficult to do it through StreamYard. I've done it right now, but I'm yet to see his icon change. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, if it's live, you should have gotten the message now. You should have gotten it by now. Okay. So this morning, we are going to be discussing about why Nigerian men are not special, just a continuation of the conversation we had yesterday. And the idea behind it is not to demonize Nigerian men. The idea behind it is not to say anything negative. The idea is just to educate each other regarding the sentiment that goes on when people talk about Nigerian men. I could remember that previously I once had a conversation regarding this particular subject about a month ago, and I told people that Nigerian men are not that special. And my concept of why I tell you this is so that we can build back a good relationship between men and women, because I think it is when humans decide not to, yeah, nobody is special. You know, women would not like to hear that. Women wants to believe they are special. I have to be special in the life of my man. And but realistically, I am speaking about the speciality we put on people. And so yesterday I had a conversation on this, but I went on YouTube also this morning and I saw too many things going on, and people are saying, oh, Nigerian men are so special, they are so confident, blah, 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 from all different states. And I'm even talking about the Africans themselves. Africans themselves are saying Nigerian men are confident, Nigerian men are strong, Nigerian men are good, Nigerian men are rich, Nigerian men spends on their women, and all kinds of things every single place. And to me, it's exhausting because I can see a rabbit hole where people are actually running into, and I know it's going to be disappointing to them at the end of the day. Rusty says, anyone who thinks they are special are the sort of people who judge others and think their doesn't smell like everyone's else. You see, in a sense, the reason why I am making this video is to awaken the people regarding why they are having such perception about the Nigerian men. And when they are having the perception about Nigerian men, the idea is this. Now, maybe we can open our mind to this conversation. Power is not being given to, no one actually has power except the power that is being given to those people. No one is powerful except the power that is being given to that person. You can see at the moment the Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, how they are working just to get the vote of the people so they can become a president. And when they become the president, that's when they become powerful, because now there's a law, there's a regulation that has been given to them. And now they have to serve a particular time, and they become one of the most powerful people within their country. The same thing is what I can see when it comes to the idea of what people are saying about Nigerian men, and people are attributing Nigerian men to be special, to be confident, to be great. I think that naturally no one tends to be special, in a sense that everything that happens to everyone happens to everybody. So you are not different from one who is going to be born and one who is going to die, one who is going to fall sick, one who is going to be imprisoned, one who is going to be set free. Everything happens to every one of us. But I can see clearly that even the Africans, the Black Americans, the Westerns, and the UK, they begin to gravitate towards the Nigerian men, and the qualities they use in attributing to the Nigerian men, I believe it is because they are not seeing it in some of their men. And what they are seeing in the Nigerian men is drawing their attention and they are gravitating towards it. Please, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe to the channel while we continue the conversation. The reason why a lot of women are gravitating towards the Nigerian men at this junction is basically because most of these qualities they are not seeing in their men. Rusty says women want tall, dark, and handsome, plus the accent will be appealing to many women. Maybe. Oh, been a while. Lisa, thanks for joining. Lisa says Nigerian men are very different from other black men globally. That's a fact. Yeah, I want to debunk a little bit of why Nigerian men are what they are, or how they are what they are, and why they are being loved by people from different continents at the moment. And I believe if care is not taken, yeah, hello, Lisa, it's been a while. If care is not taken, um, there are going to be a lot of heart that is going to be broken when it comes to the idea of Nigerian men. And yesterday, when I had a conversation about this subject, I spoke about the idea that the reason why a lot of people see Nigerian men and they say they are fearless and they have confidence in themselves, one of the facts is basically because Nigerian men have what we call strong sense of identity. I spoke about it yesterday. And I explained that strong sense of identity comes in the fact that when a male is born or a female is born, in the culture and the traditions of the Africans, they both understand their path in life. They both understand their path in life. And it simply means that as a man, for example, most of the names we give to the Nigerian men, those names tends to be a strong name, a name that has to represent confidence, a name that has to represent strength, a name that has to represent a protector, a name that has to represent a provider. These are the names we give to a Nigerian male child. The name we give to a female, the name we give to the female are the names of beauty and a name that tends to be soft. Like in the Nigerian, giving a female a name, we kind of attribute it to whatever is pleasant, whatever is like a flower, whatever is soft, whatever is feminine. Rusty says, in England, we have a stereotype over Black people in general, brought on by stuff we see like a Black immigrant hacking at vehicles with a machete in the middle of London. Lisa says, they are cheaters like the rest, but they are very, very responsible for their women and children. Absolutely. Rusty says, Lisa, so rest of men are not responsible for their women and children. I would highly argue that. Lisa says also there isn't anywhere they aren't willing to travel. Absolutely. Absolutely. But one of the things that helps these men to be who they are is basically because they have strong sense of identity. And strong sense of identity, what I mean is that the man already knows their path in life. We are not confused of who we are. Men are not told in Nigeria that the man and the woman are the same. We are not told that men and women are equal. We are only told that men have certain responsibility and they should be competent, they should be a provider, and they should be a protector. So that sense of identity as a man, the name represents strength. The name of most male children in Nigeria represents strength, represents being a protector. And so we are not confused by our gender thinking that the man and the woman are equal. No, we don't have such mentality. In fact, it is foreign and strange to us when we hear men and women are equal and stuff like that. It is strange to us because for us to have a conversation saying that men and women are equal simply signifies that men and women are not equal, but we want them to be equal. I repeat, for us to hear a statement saying that men and women are equal as African children, it is foreign and strange to us simply because if you say men and women are equal, it is basically because we know that men and women are not equal. We are trying to equalize them. And with that, we are going to confuse the man and we are going to confuse the woman. In the role as a Nigerian woman, we understand that our role as a Nigerian woman is to be loving, is to be a nurturer, is to be a supporter, is to be great. In fact, I would say this. The reason why Nigerian men are what they are is basically because of the support from the women. Rusty and Lisa are beginning to go at it. Rusty says that's because Nigeria doesn't give Nigerians a sense of having a good future. Of course, they will travel anywhere. I don't blame them. Rusty says, but at the same time, if you leave, you will never be able to have growth in the country. Lisa says, I had a Nigerian boyfriend years ago. He was actually insulted when I tried to pay for anything. I was shocked. Yeah. Gender roles are very clear to them. Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't make sense in our culture and traditions that a man and a woman goes. I think it's almost every culture in Nigeria, every culture and every tradition. I don't know anyone that is exceptions to the rule. We have over 36 states in Nigeria, and in the 36 states, I can't say that there's a tribe that feels comfortable as a man going with your wife and she begins to pay for what you guys buy. If the man does not have the money, he would rather not go out with the woman, because it is a shame to a Nigerian man for a woman to pay for him, because in the sense of his identity while he was a child, he has been told that he has to be strong for the woman, he has to be strong for his family, he has to be a provider, and he has to be a protector at the same time. Lisa says, Rusty says, most men have the attitude they provide for the woman, the older generations especially more so. Lisa says, the only women can tell you the various analyses on the characteristics of good men. Yeah. I'm just actually tabling out the things that make Nigerian men what they are. And he says, this is our experience as women. So what I say is that as a Nigerian man, first thing we have is that we have strong sense of identity. And the strong sense of identity simply means as a man, you represent something like this. And as a woman, she represents something like this. And the idea between both of them is to complement each other. The identity of a woman, she has a strong sense of identity as a woman, and the man has a strong sense of identity of a man. And they understand that the nature of both of them is to complement each other, not to compete among each other. And for now, it is also foreign and it is also strange when we begin to see the idea of some sports in the Western culture where some men are cutting off part of their body and asked to be a woman. And at the end of the day, they want to compete in a woman's sport. All these things are foreign and they are more or less like very impossible. Rusty says, okay, that's like saying only men can tell what a good woman is. So women don't know what it is to be a good woman without a man confirming it. Lisa says, why do so many women have similar experiences with Nigerian men? And what are their experiences, Lisa? What are their experiences with Nigerian men? Why do so many women have similar experiences with Nigerian men? What are the experiences? Rusty says women know what bad women are, just like they know what good women are, just like men do. One of the things also why Lisa gives me more details to the question she asked when she says, why do so many women have similar experiences with Nigerian men? I will move to the next one. The first one I said is the strong sense of identity. The second one is the pride in heritage. Pride in heritage. And when I say the word pride in heritage, I simply mean as African, as Nigerian, you will realize one thing about all the cultures of Nigerian. No tribe is trying to be like the other tribe. Every tribe are proud to be their tribe. We understand the differences between us. We understand our weaknesses and our strengths, and at the same time, we are comfortable with it. We understand that we can only build more on our strengths than to focus on our weakness. So there's what we call pride in heritage in an African child or African male child. These things are already inbuilt as much as you're born, as you're growing. Lisa says Nigerian men are super masculine and so sweet, like your best friend. Amazing. Thanks for the compliment. Rusty says women define good men in different ways also. So why should we take a woman's word on what a good man is? Makes no sense. Why should we? Now, let me touch on a few things that Rusty and Lisa are saying. Now, the first thing Lisa is actually attributing to with the Nigerian men is this. Nigerian men are masculine in a sense because of the first thing I said, which is the sense of identity, and we understand. In Africa, we do not see any competition between we and the woman. And so it is kind of rare. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is kind of rare for you to see a Nigerian man tries to fight a woman. There are some who does it because there are always going to be different people. There are some who does it, but because we do not believe in the idea of competing with women, we see them as people who they need our support. And if I am, as a woman or as a man, sorry, I am there to protect a woman, why would I find it interesting to compete with the woman in a sense like maybe she does something that is provoking. Most of the things a Nigerian man would do if you get them upset, for example, is to pick up their clothes and just walk out of the house. Even if they are the owner of the house, no matter anything, the man just pick up his clothes and he thinks the best thing to do is to walk out of the house. And the reason is basically because I don't think I should be here fighting with what I am supposed to be protecting just because we have misunderstanding. Some of them would have conversation with the woman, but most men in Africa would walk away. And when they see that the woman is kind of calm and she begins to plead, oh, where are you, and the rest of it, now the man begins to maybe get back at her by his absence. But the problem with most some Western culture is like whenever you have disputes with your spouse, you have to settle that. You have to have conversation, or we talk about communication. And in the Yoruba culture and tradition, we have a statement like, I will first of all say it in our proverbs. It says that ìgbà míì ayé máa wà kò ní sọ̀rọ̀, ìgbà míì ọ̀rọ̀ máa wà kò ní sáyè. The meaning of that statement is that sometimes there might be time for us to communicate, but there is no time for us to communicate. And sometimes there is a time for us to communicate, but we are not ready to communicate. So the difference between such a statement is like everything in human relationship are not meant to be sorted at that particular time in the name of communication. I always listen to a lot of people who says that communication saves relationship. And I always tell people, not communication that saves relationship. Because sometimes when both of you are having misunderstanding, no matter how you try to talk or to have a discussion, there is always going to be that ego coming into the conversation, and it's going to mess things up. Regardless of what has provoked both of you, now it's going to worsen the situation because you are going to say things that he doesn't mean, or he's going to say things that he doesn't mean, or you are going to say the same thing. And then rather than you to have just have your misunderstanding, both of you try to fix it. Sometimes it is not important that we fix every problem between us as a man and as a woman. So most African men, we understand this, that if there's a miscommunication between we and our spouse, sometimes we have to give a gap between us. Not because we are walking away from the relationship, but basically because we want to give time for everyone to come back to their senses. But in most Western culture, they believe in the communication instantly. And because the men already understand this, we see it from the way of our father. We understand, in fact, once you tell a Nigerian man, if you're part of his friend and you tell him, I have an issue with my wife and she's nagging and the rest of it, and a Nigerian man will tell you, walk away. Take some clothes and walk away. Simple. And the only reason why he's saying it is not like go and take another woman or go date somebody else. What it means is give her some space for her to heal or come back to her senses. Now you guys can now find a solution and have a good conversation. So you would see that as confidence because he is not scared of walking away in the relationship, knowing that walking out is going to give you time to think. But most men in some Western culture tries to be sweet, and in them trying to be sweet, they provoke the woman the more because they try to over-explain themselves. And when you over-explain yourself, the woman might just see you at that particular time that you are just blabbing. And maybe sometimes she can even sense the fear inside of you. And the fear might be that maybe he's actually speaking to you so that you are not going to divorce him or separate from him. And the women knows how to sense all these fears. But a Nigerian man does not give a damn what is going to happen. What he's actually looking at is, I just have to give out some time. So Rusty says, when you hype up one race and pretty much badmouth all others, it actually comes across as racist. Men are men. Some have good qualities, some have bad. Country of region only plays a small part in human development. Imagine if I hyped up Nigerian women and basically said they were this, that, and the other, basically dismissing every other worldwide. LOL. Um, Lisa, cases of domestic violence are on the high and show no signs of reduction in Nigeria, regardless of age, tribe, religion, or even social status. The Clean Foundation reports one in every three respondents identified themselves as a victim of domestic violence. Nigerian men, just like the rest of men worldwide, have good and bad. Lisa says, I said absolutely nothing about another group of men. Lisa never said any culture is bad. Lisa said that Nigerian men are interesting and confident in themselves. But there's something that Rusty says, and I would like to address that particular path. And it fosters into part of the point that I wanted to make, which is country plays a big role in the confidence of their men. The country, the culture, the traditions plays a big role in the confidence of their men or who their men tends to be. Let me give you, for example, if you go to Russia right now, an average Russian man is very strong, physically strong. And there's a reason why they are physically strong, because the culture and the traditions helps to tell people to compete among themselves as a man. You can see them in the UFC, you can see them in the MMA, and you can see how they dominate. Now, that doesn't mean that in the US, in the UK, in other tribes, in Canada, there are people who are not training to be strong. It is that in the culture and in the traditions of the Russian, it is more or less like very important for everybody, as much as you are a man, to compete and to be strong. So in that, most of them will physically be stronger than most men in other countries. So it is what you encourage in your country and in your culture and traditions that is going to reflect itself in majority of the people. The same thing applicable to the idea of Nigerian men, right from our birth as a man. I can remember there's a time that my mom, as I was born, I was around 5 years old. My mom would carry me, and there's a song my mom used to sing when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I can remember that song. She used the word Babani Bu Babani Mahi. That simply means the strong man of his culture and the strong man of his state. And when I was growing, when I got to the age of 16, 17, that same song plays into my head. I had two sisters. Nobody taught me. When I realized my sisters were dating and they're about to go into marriage, I began to go for boxing training. I began to go into martial arts and the rest of it. I began to read books and do a lot of things. And the purpose behind it was I am trying to make sure I can protect my two sisters, knowing fully well that my dad is not alive. And I am the man who bears the responsibility to be able to protect my two sisters. And if I am not strong, and if I cannot be confidence in myself, then it will be impossible for the men that they have to respect the woman. A man needs, when he wants to date a woman, a man needs to have somebody he's careful of when he's dealing with a woman. If a man goes into a relationship with a woman whereby there is nobody in the family of the man that is kind of intimidated by, and when I use the word intimidate, it is actually true, because men, when we stay in a room, we know who is tough and we know who is not tough. Men understand this, why we see each other. And so if the man is not prepared to be strong, a lot of people will take advantage of the woman, knowing fully well there is nobody to protect her. But when they know there's somebody to protect her, then the man becomes very careful. Even till date, one of my eldest sister, the one I talked about, she still talk about issues like that. Why she needs me to keep communicating with her, because though she's in a good relationship, but she's like, I want to constantly remind my husband that I have a brother, and my brother is wealthy, my brother is living a good life, my brother is successful, and my brother at the same time is dangerous. There's a purpose behind it. Let me move forward. So that's why I said the culture and the traditions and the society actually plays a role in majority of the men. Yo says, okay, Rusty says, hello, part two. Good morning. Lisa says, Rusty is demonstrating exactly what the issue is with many other men. They are too feminine and argumentative. Okay, they want to argue and debate non-stop. Nigerian men are refreshing. Feminine for not sharing your opinion. Okay, argumentative. My opinion differs from yours, so you want to label me as argumentative. Debate is not argue. Please learn the difference. Okay. Oh, now let me put it this way. I understand where Lisa is coming from, because as an African man or as a Nigerian man, there are some things that women see. I would have loved if the men who are paying attention can open their mind to the conversation. It most likely would help. One of the things men do not do as a Nigerian man is, when women are having some conversations, we really don't want to have anything. We don't even want to listen to what they are saying. Because this is what we do. When women speaks and the rest of it, as men, we say it is a woman thing or a girl thing. When men are doing what they have to do, the woman sees the man and they say it is the man's world. So we are not interested in whatever women are doing. And there is a separation between all these things. In a sense, like, you can observe this. There's a lady that speaks about YouTube in Nigeria. She specifically talks about YouTube and the rest of it, blah, 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 how you can grow your YouTube channel and the rest of it. Most men will go to the channel and pick the information, but they are not going to make much comments in a live stream. But when they go into the comments of another man, if he says anything, you would see how they are going to attack the man. Now, Rusty, for example, if you go back to some of my video I put out when I spoke about Nigeria and the rest of it, you will realize that most of the people who were attacking me were the male. And most of the people that were not attacking me were the female. And the same thing as men. When you go towards the channel of a woman, you most likely will just be silent and you watch her, because we understand that when we say certain things, it's kind of give her, it's either we are building our confidence or we are reducing our confidence in ourselves. And we want them to be themselves, except they go extreme. Except a woman is saying something that goes extreme, that is when you can see the Nigerian men do that. But I think the Western women also are able to sense some of these things, that Nigerian men naturally do these things. And so initially I said something about the idea, like, oh, okay, Lisa brought out a point when she said, as a Nigerian man, it is a taboo to buy things for us. Like, you take me to the grocery store and then you want to tell me, like, you want to buy things for me. It is an insult in the Nigerian culture. So we need to start looking at the attributes of what Nigerian men actually have that other men do not have in other cultures, and what they can actually imbibe. For me, what I can agree with Rusty is that men are men, but I think that we have to be able to emulate the good side of some men so we can add it up to our life, for the women to be able to feel safe with us. I would never ask, but I am definitely wondering how many Nigerian men you have dated, Lisa, and how many non-Nigerian, to be able to make this comparison as you do so strongly. You're handsome black man with opinions. You will appeal to women and be hated by men. No, Didi, when I say handsome, by the way. No, did okay, no. Rusty. Now, I would have preferred if you open your mind a little bit and look at it from this angle. You said, okay, maybe as a man, maybe I look a little bit handsome. That's your point. But there are other men who are kind of very handsome than the average Nigerian man. Nigerian men are not that physically handsome, or let me say facially handsome. The Nigerian men, facially, they are just maybe 6 out of 10 or 5 out of 10. Not many of them are not that handsome. It is their character that speaks volume to the women. And you would realize that when you go towards many social media at this particular stage, just type Nigerian men on your YouTube space and you see what people are saying when it comes to the idea of Nigerian men. Oh, they spend money. Oh, they protect their women. Oh, they give money to their women. Oh, they want to do this to their women. Oh, their confidence and all this kind of stuff. These are part of the things that the Nigerian men have that is showcasing in their attitude. And the women can see those actions in them, and they respect and they love those actions. Lisa says, I have many friends who have also dated and married Nigerian men, and I have also worked with many Nigerians. They are very different from other black men globally. Rusty says, different how? Remember, before you answer, you are comparing them. Rusty, there are two types of battles, and in two ways you can win in battles. One of the ways you can win in battle is sometimes how you decide to engage in battle. And sometimes the way you can win in the battle is not to engage with the battle. Those are two ways we use. And I think Nigerian men, an average Nigerian man, understand this. Like when a woman is speaking or when somebody is saying certain things, you see Nigerian men, most times we have these attributes we do. And when we use that word, it's just like we ease a little bit. We focus on something else. Rusty says, define what your idea of masculinity is. Her. Okay, let me focus on other things. Why I talk about Nigerian men. One of the things that also help in the Nigerian men is that in the culture and the traditions of every Nigerian man, we celebrate our achievements. We celebrate our achievement big time. And in fact, that kind of inspire other men to want to achieve things. Nigerian men, whenever we are able to successfully do something, we try to celebrate it. Our cultures, when it comes to the Igbos, when it comes from the Yorubas, when it comes from the Awusas, we can walk in a low key, but the moment we've been able to accomplish it, we celebrate it. And that accomplishment speaks to the next generation or to younger generations or those who are coming and wanting the same thing to realize, okay, I have to have this so that I will be celebrated. But I would have loved to answer some of the things that Lisa was saying when she used the word they are mostly masculine. And part of the things that it takes to be masculine is, I think they are very simple. One of it is protector, provider, they can be quiet, and they can be loud. They can show their strength where they need to show their strength and turn it off when they need to turn it off. It's not because the host is handsome. There are Nigerian men here in America, even more handsome. They will go to the ends of the earth to get what they want. Facts. That is actually true. And I will say this, and I understand, hopefully, Rusty would understand this particular part. When we run away from, when you see Nigerian men who leave Nigeria and move to a different country, many Nigerian men leave Nigeria and never look bad. Do you mean back? They badmouth their own country and never look back. They also almost a bad typo. What's more masculine than that? Let me put it this way. What it takes for a Nigerian to leave his country and move to a different country is enough to get him a house and to get him some business in Nigeria. Trying to make growth in your country is more masculine, LOL. If that's how you want to define masculinity, I suppose LOL. Now, we can put it in this way. Masculinity has different ways we can look at it. Now, you are looking at the character or the opinion of people when they leave their country. You see, when Nigerian men or when Nigerians say bad things about Nigerians, sometimes I see it like they don't even believe what they say. They are only saying it to appease and to appeal to other people sometimes, and just for them to get what they actually want. Because any chance they have and they are very successful, you realize that they come back to Nigeria, most of them. And the ones who talk about how terrible Nigeria is, when you look at them, really, most of them are not that successful where they find themselves. Nigerian men and women are rarely impacted or affected by global racism. They don't care, they just go take what they want, period. Now that's gangster. So, one of the things you guys are going to debate this, she would have a lot of points. All I believe is that the masculinity side of a Nigerian man is always going to be there. Like Nigerian men, we really don't give a damn about what people say. And the reason is basically because in our nation, yeah, whenever you say something, the people are willing to condemn you. The people are willing to attack you. And we are so used to that lifestyle that when we see other people kind of insult us, it's just like that's nothing. So when Nigerians talk about, you can rarely hear a Nigerian actually talk about racism. There were some of my friends that are in the UK during that time when the incidents of that boy who stabs a little baby and the rest of it, when it was going on, I was saying, is there racism there? They don't even give a damn. They are like, what is racism? Let's not talk about racism. Racism is it's a natural thing for a group of people to fight. And mostly, I don't think that I have seen Nigerians who actually really focus on racism, except the ones that have been indoctrinated by those in that particular nation. Rusty says, the man of thought, you are a landlord in Nigeria trying to help the country. That is a real man, not someone who flees overseas because it's easier. Point, point, point. Point, point, point. Some of them are, like I said, there are some that are in the US, that are in the UK, who have also been able to establish family and the rest here. And they just want to be there because they make more money there. Lisa says that I have seen how they come though through and develop themselves quickly. They may be down, and then in just a short period of time, the progression happens rapidly because their hustle is so strong. Wow. You guys are helping me create all the whole points. Both you and Rusty, you are both helping me create the whole point. And now it makes me speechless. Because the next thing I wanted to talk about is the entrepreneurship spirit of an average Nigerian man. And now Lisa already touched on it. Every single point I wanted to make, you guys are already making the point. Lisa is actually making many points, and Rusty is actually making points also. Men are encouraged to be providers, like I said, between and respected. Laws that I think one of the things that also help us is that we have laws, and that was what I and Rusty touched on the other time when I was talking about the Russians and the rest of it. I think our laws in the nation kind of promote us in a sense, kind of promotes the idea of confidence and the rest of it. Lisa says, I have seen this with my own eyes, so Rusty can tell me anything. I've seen it. Absolutely. And the reason why I am saying, why I spoke about this subject when I talk about Nigerian men are not special, the reason why I said I come from that particular angle is that I want other men in every other nation to see the things that Nigerian men can are doing and they can emulate from those Nigerian men and apply the same thing so that they would also be admired by their women. That is exactly the reason for the conversation. That's the purpose behind the message. That there are certain things about Nigerian men that the women admire. And if other men can look at it and emulate the same things, they can also apply it. And before you understand, or before you know it, they would also admire you. Kolade,
Sir?
is Mama back?
Yes.
Okay. She's at the shop.
Yeah, but it was his.
Okay.
Bye-bye, sir.
All right, bye. Rusty says, Lisa, I am not debating your goal relationship with Nigerian men. I just think you have some misconceptions about the rest of men in general, your good relationships. Yeah, I think it's just a misunderstanding from the onset of the conversation. And I can remember in the beginning of the conversation, it was she was saying they are good Nigerian men and they are masculine in one way or the other. She was giving some kind of things. But maybe when you came and you said, oh, does she mean that other men are not good? And then she was trying to say, she's not talking about other men, or she's not comparing them with other men. She's just stating what her experience is with the Nigerian men. But my point is that there are some qualities, there are some qualities that Nigerian men actually have that every other nation can always emulate from so that they would be admired by their men. Oh, sorry, by their women. Truth seeker, who is she? Um, who is truth seeker? Rusty says it was a direct comparison to other black men globally. LOL. So, truth the seeker. Is this who that truth? This is truth seeker. Now, Rusty, I would like you to see it from this angle. If you go on YouTube at the moment, you are going to see multiple channels of women saying things about Nigerian men and saying how good Nigerian men are or how different Nigerian men are more than every other black man. It is what is going on many channels at the moment. Both the women from Kenya, both women from South Africa, both women from Gambia, both women from, what did they call it? From Ghana, all these women who are neighboring countries, all of them at this particular junction are trooping after the Nigerian men. This is all over social media. So I do not think it was coming from the point of Lisa, but what the world is actually saying at the moment. And I'm trying to debunk it that the qualities that Nigerian men have, there are many factors that help us to be who we are. And I think that if they can create a society and a culture that is also suitable for the men, in fact, maybe help with some laws, it is also possible for men to be able to experience the same admiration. Because in my opinion, when I was looking at it, I think that Nigerian men are not that much that we can get married to all the women across board. And because of that, it will be okay, or it will be good for Nigerian men to, or for other women to help their men develop themselves, or for the men to also learn or emulate different qualities from the Nigerian men and grow. Because do not be surprised if women begins to sing these praises so much, it might get to a particular point that women would not mind 5 people dating a Nigerian man. You can see 4 people dating a Nigerian man. In fact, most women do not care if a Nigerian man is married. Most women do not care if a Nigerian man is married. They just want you regardless. And so, my intention is to make sure that other men open their minds towards the qualities of the things that Nigerian men have, and they can also emulate it. And that was the reason for the conversation. Truth Seeker says that what are these qualities you spoke of? What are these qualities? Okay. Initially, I spoke about strong sense of identity. And when I spoke about strong sense of identity, what it means is that in Nigeria, when the male children are being born, there is no comparison saying that the men and the women are equal. So the man knows that he is a man, and as a child, a 3-year-old child, you have been taught to protect and to be a provider. That is the mentality we have. And so while we grow up, there is no one debating an idea that the Nigerian man or as a man, you and a woman, you are equal and all of that. No, we understand that we are different and we should complement each other. Unlike many nations where they always say that the man and the woman are the same. And the moment you say a man and a woman are the same, it actually indicates that the man and the woman are not the same. Thanks for the $5. Sun Odu, my brother. Good morning. Any hope in one Nigeria? I don't think so. One Nigeria expecting hope in hopelessness. Ah, thank you very much for the $5. Sun Odu, it's been a while. Thank you. I really appreciate. Any hope in one Nigeria? I don't think so. One Nigeria expecting hope in hopelessness. Yeah, here is how I have let me just touch on a few things of what okay, you're busy at work. On what Truth Seeker was saying. So there's a strong sense of identity of the man, and so they are proud of themselves. The next one I talk about pride in heritage. Okay, Suodu is going to be a Nigerian. Suodu is a Nigerian. But one thing you can always see about Nigeria is we do not pretend to be a different culture or a different tribe. We can say that Nigeria is not good. We can talk about the negative things of what is happening within the country, but Nigerians are proud of being Nigeria, regardless of what's going on. And Suandu, I believe, is not currently in Nigeria. He most likely will be either in the Western culture, but you would never ask such people that, where are you from? And they would say, I am from a different country. They will never say that I'm from Ghana. They will never say I'm from South Africa. They will tell you I'm a Nigerian. And that is the pride in heritage. Regardless of our challenges, we are proud of who we are, and we have strong sense of identity. If a Nigerian man is telling you that I and a woman were equal, he's just lying to you. He just know it's just like a conversation he just want to bring up, so he doesn't want to argue with you. A Nigerian man don't want to argue with you. That's why he will tell you that, okay, men and women are equal. He don't believe it. He believes he should be a protector and a provider. That's just it. He believes he should be masculine. In fact, the name of a Nigerian man, like I said earlier, represents strength. The name of a woman in Nigeria represents beauty and softness and calmness, and they are all feminine. So I'm saying these are part of the things that encourage us to be who we are as people. And so as a man, when you think that I have to be a protector, I have to be a provider, and this is non-negotiable, it would help you to foster, to show yourself, and you are going to be confident in who you are. Then I talk about Nigerians celebrate achievement. So that means whatever we are able to make, we kind of find a way to celebrate whenever we achieve something. And in that way, we are telling other men that you have to also succeed for you to be celebrated. And in that sense, this is one of the reasons why you see most Nigerians leave the country. Nigeria is not so hard that most Nigerians that are outside the country cannot stay in Nigeria. I repeat, Nigeria is not so difficult that most people that are outside the country cannot stay in Nigeria. No, they are outside the country so that they can find a greener pasture and they can make more success for themselves. Majority of the people who leave Nigeria to another country, they are already successful in Nigeria. Most of them, majority of them, not all of them. Some of them, the money that an average Nigerian would use to travel out of the country, he can use that same money to go into farming, to establish business, and to even build a house. Some of them can do it, but they just decide that they want more success because they want to be celebrated by their Nigerian brothers and sisters. And that's why you're going to see that any country you find Nigerians, you would always see that they always celebrate among themselves. This is basically that it is a mentality that I have to be successful as a man, and this thing is kind of struck into our head. And I'm saying that is why we are being appreciated by other women in different countries. And if the women also understand this and the men can also learn and emulate some of these things, you would realize that it is also possible for you to be admired by your women. A lot of men in most Western cultures, they've already adapt to the principles and the rules and the laws of the country, even with their belief system saying that men and women are the same. And that is why some of them will find it comfortable to change into a different gender and start competing with a woman. You can never see a Nigerian man have that interest to compete with a woman. And I say some of the things that Nigerian men we naturally have in our mentality is like we are not supposed to argue with a woman. Nigerian men don't believe in arguing with a woman. For example, if I have a misunderstanding with my wife, the only thing that happens is I'm going to be silent. I will be so silent, I can be silent for 1 or 2 days until she realizes whatever she has done, and then she says, I'm sorry. Then we start our conversation. In fact, we might even forget the reason why we were fighting in the first place. But our greatest fight between me and my wife is going to be silence. I'm either silent or I step outside and I go and take fresh air, or I move to a different property and I go and communicate and see who I have to help in the community. That's just it. An average Nigerian, this is how they think. Those ones who are not that wealthy to have their home, some of them will just take up their clothes and they go out of the house. And when you hear a Nigerian man tell his friend that if your wife is arguing with you, step out of the house, he's not telling you to go cheat with another woman. He's trying to tell you, like, give her a space. And with time, she will come back to her senses. Now, let me quickly read what's going on. Lisa says, that's why most Black American women stay clear of Nigerian men, because they are heavily pursued and they tend to have no problem cheating. Rusty, they like the idea of men being the boss of them. Sondu says that busy at work. Lisa says Nigerian men are excellent providers and protectors, though, and reliable. Rusty says, how can you be reliable if you cheat? There's a perception with women and there's a perception with men. Sondu says it's 10 a.m. Yeah, I'm from Southwest Nigeria. Oh, I know you are from Nigeria. Southwest Nigeria. Thank you, sir. I don't call myself a Nigerian no more. The stigma here is embarrassing. Carry the green passport and travel, then you will understand. Okay, that's what Sumodu says. I don't call myself a Nigerian no more. The stigma here is embarrassing. Carry the green passport and travel, then you would understand. Rusty says, so do sorry to hear that. Europe more than most have a bad stereotype of black people in general. Swadu says, no security. I always close at work at 11:30 p.m. daily and get home 1 a.m. daily at work for the past 10 years. Is that possible in Nigeria? Well, that's not possible. Swandu is you need a job closer to home. I used to hate long travel to work and back. Rusty says my cheating comment was referring to one of Lisa's earlier comments you missed about why black American women don't go for Nigerian men, apparently because they cheat. So how can you be reliable if you cheat? Um, They would want to bring me to that conversations that you are going to hear that um, they call certain people high value men and the rest of it. I would say this: an average Nigerian man who is 30 years old is actually in a strong relationship, if not the fact that he already has children. And most women actually understand this. Let me put it this way for you, Rusty. A woman would prefer to be with a man who she understands is actually is is married and he has children and but is confident and is being respected in the society than a man who is not confident in himself and who is not respected in the society. Yeah, I'm just actually stating that most women, and I'm not saying all women, I'm saying most women would rather be with a man knowing that he has children and is married and he has the rest of it, but he's being respected in the society and is confident in himself, than to be with a man who does not have confidence in himself and who is not respected in the society but is single. In fact, in Nigeria, for example, the moment you realize you are married, as a man, once women realize you're married, that's the moment they begin to find a way to approach you. They begin to give you all kinds of green lights, simply because they understand that you have done what majority of the boys have not been able to do. You have been able to establish family, and the moment they can see that you are responsible, now they gravitate towards you. There is a connection between a man and a woman, and there's a romantic way of how we perceive each other. It is the same thing. If a man sees a beautiful woman who has a child and she's respected and she's submissive in the way she approaches and the way she talks, and she's beautiful, and she has um, the physical attributes, most men would compromise because of the physical attributes and her submission and her respect and whatever she is to go after the woman who actually have physical attributes and she has a child, then go after a woman who is not that beautiful and she's not submissive or not respectful. Most men would rather go with that one who actually has one child or a child. Lisa, you say Nigerian men you dated are sweet, pay for everything etc. You then say they cheat. Would you not entertain the idea that this what we call faking niceness? Would you not entertain the idea that this is what we call faking niceness? Or So I would have loved if Sunodu was on live. He should have told me. Maybe he would have been free to say, oh, what does he call himself at that particular time? Very argumentative. I can tell you're tiring. Okay, that's what Lisa says. Okay, although most likely Sunodu would not be on live right now. I think he has left. Sweet man doesn't cheat in his woman. Or I would have loved Sunodu to tell me what he actually represents. If he's not a Nigerian, maybe a Ghanaian or something like that, or South African or something like that. But Rusty, honesty, being a honest person or being loyal does not mean attraction to women. The loyalty of a man does not mean attraction to a woman. Attraction of a woman to a man has other attributes, not loyalty. Confidence is one, protective is two, provider is three, being a sweet talker is four, being able to juggle among many things. It's like this way. As a Nigerian man, let's say I have an intention of dating a woman. If I have an intention of dating a woman, trust me, I can do that without destroying my home. I can do that and I will bring that woman into my life and I would have good relationship with the woman and my wife would also understand and we are going to live happy. That means I can juggle with, okay, I have my wife and my children, they are going to be living fine. And I would not let one woman from a different space to destroy the family that I have. And at the same time, I will take good care of that woman. And I will make sure everybody are in their space. Most men do not know how to do this because when they begin to date another woman, they most likely would ignore their family and run after that particular woman that they just find. I don't know if you're getting the point. One of the things that most people do, or Western men might do, some of them, is that not all of them, I use the word some of them, is that when they are dating a woman or they find a new girl that they want to cheat, they most likely would want to go after that new girl every single time. But a Nigerian man knows how to juggle both together. And you wouldn't feel the absence of one. The only thing when they get upset is when they feel like one woman is so controlling. If they realize a woman is so much controlling than the other, then they want to go to the one who is a little bit more submissive or peaceful. The only problem you would have with a Nigerian man is that when you are argumentative with them or when you argue so much with them and they get fed up of arguing with you, they will just retract immediately and they just move backward. So what is a real man? I would say this. There is no definition of in the society that we call a real man, and one attribute that happens to be a real man is a man that doesn't cheat. No. A man that doesn't cheat is a decision and a discipline. But cheating does not make anyone in the definition of calling a real man. Cheating is not part of it. When we make decision not to cheat on our wives or not to cheat in a relationship, it is just a discipline thing. Lisa says, oh my God, that's exactly what so many Nigerian men were doing here in America. Black Americans were falling in love with these men just to find out they have a whole other family. Yeah, I actually understand my brothers very well. I actually understand my brothers very well. So there's a mentality There's a mentality. The only thing is like if you don't push them that much, if you don't wrestle with them that much, or you don't fight them that much, they will slowly come closer to you. But when you are trying to know them every single time, then they will just tell you. And Nigerian men, we do not know how to hide secrets for that much. Um, Thanks for joining, and Ron. Good morning. How are you doing, ma? Hope you had a great day. Uh, Lisa says they were breaking hearts. Rusty says, be a real man, tell a Western woman what you want from a relationship, and she will call you controlling, abusive, etc. Well, I would say this. That is the problem, Rusty, I was actually talking about. That's why I tell you that there are certain things as a Nigerian man we do not debate with women. Like you asking a woman, what does she want in a man? It simply means that you have not been able to read or study the woman. As a Nigerian man, when I speak to a woman, if you call me, if a woman calls me right now on the phone, I can tell you, if we can speak for 5 minutes, I can tell you at least 70% of how the woman thinks within a period of 5 minutes. How she thinks, what she likes, and what she hates. And then if I can do that for maybe 5 days, then I already know everything about the woman. Because asking a woman what she wants, sometimes as humans, we don't really know what we want. And Ron says, hey, Rusty brother from another mother. He says, no, I didn't say what you want from a woman, LOL. No, this is what I said. I said, I can know what a woman wants by talking to the woman on phone about something else. I don't necessarily have to talk to her about relationship. I have studied the woman just by communicating with her. Now, let me say this. Maybe most Nigerians are good in certain IQ. This is the reason why they would say Nigerians are one of the highest fraudsters in the world. They are one of the highest fraudsters in the world. Why? Because Nigerian man communicating with you, he can actually pick up IQs and know how you think. Without him seeing you, without him communicating with you, he knows the necessary information he has to give to you based off your response. So if I'm asking a woman, what do you want in a man? Whatever she's going to give me is not going to be enough with the words of her mouth. The description that a woman is going to tell me and say that I want this in a man and I want this in a man, she's not going to be able to explain it. It is my duty as a man to study the woman and know exactly how she thinks. It is like telling a woman, what do you bring to the table? It is like telling a woman, what do you bring to the table? A Nigerian man would not ask a woman, what do you bring to the table? Because to us, that question does not really make any sense. What does a woman bring to the table? Study her character, study what she does, study how she thinks. Once you can study all these things, you already know her value and you know if you have to engage yourself with her. But if I meet up with a woman and I tell her, what do you bring to the table? These are debates. These are communications that are unnecessary. These are communications that breeds not just arguments, but breeds contempt at the long run. Lisa says, but seriously, though, Black Americans are very attracted to specifically the Nigerian man because they are closer to what the Black American man is like, their confidence in particular. Rossi says, tell the woman that what you want in the relationship before you start it is key to actually finding out if it will work. Now, that's not what we do. In the other way, what we do is we study her and we study the family. We study our relationship with our parents. We study our relationship with now look at it this way. If a woman has a great relationship, is in fact I would say this, I can study a woman through the lens of her mother, and I can see the relationship. If she has contempt with her mom and they are not in good terms, then I will tell you that then she's not buying certain characteristics of the mom. And then you have to look at, if she does not love her mom and they have this rapport every single time, or they have a very close relationship, that simply means that the life of the woman, the woman, let me put it this way. The mother of a woman you want to date is the result of who that lady is going to be to you. Because if the mother of a woman is actually with the father and they have a long relationship, and the lady have a good relationship with her mom, I actually understand where the relationship is going to go and what are the attributes. Then I look at the culture, I look at the traditions and the rest of it. I learn about those things. We can hear what the woman has to say, but at the end of the day, we can study. Lisa says, bingo. Rusty, we spoke all this before. LOL. Lisa says they are very intelligent. Yes, they are. And Rose says, LOL. It will mirror what she wants. That's exactly the best way to put it. There's this yoga technique. You can be in the front of a snake and you guys mirror something. It's just very possible. You can look at a woman and in the communication you can know exactly what a woman wants. Look at where our words are actually tailoring to. Look at where she's actually going with her words, not necessarily asking. Because I would even say this: when you're asking a woman many questions about relationship, you are actually breaking or bridging a train of thought, and you are wanting her to give you an answer that is actually pleasant to you. So it is always okay to see exactly where she's going, and then you know what you want. And if where she's going with her conversation, you already know, okay, I'm not going to have much problem with the lady. Rusty said it is not asking what the woman bring to the table. It is saying what you want in the relationship. That is very different. Nigerian women are also very, very smart. Rusty says Taiwan, Hungary, and Finland have the smartest women, depending on how you define smartness. Or, well, what I can say is, let me touch on the particular one you say. You say it is what you want in the relationship. That is very different. Now, let me say this, Rusty. No matter what you say you want in a relationship, it is something that has to do with what is not in the present right now. And I can tell you that I want to have a business or I want to do something with you. And the moment I get the results or something similar to what I want, I can change after a period of time. If your attributes or your attitude or your character is not suitable to my goal, I already know. Asking you, the woman may admire me because she's single. The woman may admire me because she's lonely. The woman may admire me because I am handsome. The woman may admire me because I have the cars and I have whatever she wants. And if I keep asking her, what does she want in the relationship? Then she's going to say what is going to be suitable for me to listen to. But if I study the woman and I study her attitude and her character and every other thing that has to do with her, it is easy for me to know what she's capable of doing. I think I've spoken about how I chose my wife and the other ladies, what I was studying about them. I didn't sit any of them down. I didn't tell any of the women. I was with three women during that time. I wasn't telling my wife like, this is what I want, or this particular lady, this is what I want, or I have any conversation about relationship with any of them. I was watching them and I study what they are doing. In fact, the best way to understand a woman is to let her to be herself, because when you are not competing with the woman, or you are not questioning or arguing with her, she will be free to reveal who her true self is. And when she reveals who her true self is, now you would know if she's somebody you have to date. It's like sometimes when I was with my wife, when we started during those time, one of them would tell me, oh, let's go to the club, let's go to the party. I'll say, do you like to go to the party? Do you like to go to the club? I don't like going to the club. I don't like going to the party. How often they repeat it, I kind of find an excuse to retract or take myself out of the situation. But when I found my wife, she's someone who she's not like interested in going to the party. I'm like, when did you go to the party last? I want to take you out? Can we go to the beach? Do you prefer we going to an eatery, or do you prefer us going to the beach, or going to the club, or going to the party? The thing she prefers is for us to be in a quiet eatery, sorry. And because I understood that every single time I propose party or club or beach or something like that, she prefers the eatery, then I understand that, okay, I don't need to stay with a woman where I have to correct her, or I have to stop her from being herself. And rather than me telling a woman that, oh, I don't want you to go to the party, I just want a woman who don't like going to the party. It's as simple as ABC. Because trust me, just because these other ladies like going to the party and going to the club and doing all these things, does not mean they are bad women. It does not mean they are bad women. It is just like, I don't want to, in my future or in the vision I have, I don't want people like that in my life, or I don't want to make such a person a wife material. So imagine when they like me during that time and I tell them this is what I want in a relationship, and they saw that, okay, I had some money and I could take care of them. Most of them will pretend to adapt to what I want until you get married to those individuals and they begin to show you themselves, their true self. So most of these things, a Nigerian man knows how to mirror a woman, just like Enron says earlier. They know how to mirror a woman and understand how she thinks. And this is the reason why a lot of women fall in love with Nigerian men, because Nigerian men already knows what a woman wants, what she wants to hear, how she likes to think, how she likes to feel. We are not asking her what she wants. We already know it before she says it. And most of them gravitate towards it. But if you're questioning a woman, you most likely will not get the answer. Enron says it's hard to find a wife in the club. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rusty says, on a previous life, I got the impression Western world going into relationship blind was where I was at. And you were talking about how you research them, friends and family, etc., and tell them what you want from the relationship. No, I spoke about how I was making the research. I didn't talk about how I want or what I want in the relationship. You can go back to any of my video. I didn't sit my wife down and I say, let us have a conversation in this relationship. This is what I want and this is what I want. Maybe got it mistaken in my head would have to rematch the conversation, but that's just a headache and can't be bothered. LOL. Yeah. So what I did was I studied her and I said something. If you observe most of the videos I've been making, I say if her attitude does not match, or if her character does not match what you want, don't bother yourself bringing her into your life. Because the idea of marriage or relationship is not to change anybody. The purpose of relationship is not to change anybody, but to find who is compatible with you. And if you're looking for who is compatible with you, what you have to do is to study the person. And in studying the person, you can study how the person presents themselves. And if probably you think the person is pretending, You have to go close to the family of the woman. And if her attitude is also the same thing with the way she relates with her family and the rest of it, see how she communicates with her family and her friends. And what does she say whenever she's upset with her friends and her family? If she's bringing them down in the relationship, then she will bring you down when both of you have misunderstanding, or she's going to say negative things about you. So those are the things I think I've spoken about when it comes to relationship. Study, study, study. Communication, they say communication saves relationship. But if you study someone, like I said earlier when I was talking about misunderstanding between men and women, I said it earlier. I said, if a man and a woman have misunderstanding, as a Nigerian man, my sense tells me to walk away. If I see that there's an issue between both of us and we are not understanding ourselves, my sense is like put on a cloth and walk away or go to a silent or a quiet place. The reason is basically like what I said in the proverb of the African culture in the Yoruba, which is ìgbà míì ayé máa wà kò ní sọ̀rọ̀, ìgbà míì ọ̀rọ̀ máa wà kò ní sáyè, which simply means sometimes there will be communication, but there wouldn't be time. Sometimes there will be time, but there's nothing we want to communicate on. So when you understand this, you will realize that sometimes when there's a misunderstanding with people, it is not everything we have to forcefully fix in the relationship. Sometimes we need to understand that there's a season and there's a time to be quiet. And in that time of silence, when we decide not to say anything, we wouldn't offend each other more. We are just going to be quiet. But if we are upset with each other and we try to just talk and try to fix it at that particular time, we might cause more damage than good. So Rusty says, this will be the last one while I round up for the day. He says, I wouldn't say it's changing a person by saying what you expect in a relationship. It's a choice as to if she likes your idea of how you want the relationship or not. So many people say these things, but when you look at the long run, you realize that they have issues. Now, the question of what I'm saying is when you look at an average Nigerian man, we rarely have breakup in our relationship. And I'm not talking about relationship dating, I'm saying in marriage. In Nigerian relationship, we rarely have breakups in marriage specifically. And the reason why it's difficult for people is basically because there's a union between both family, number one. Number two is basically because we understand the traditions and the culture of the family where the woman comes from. And then we understand the character of the woman. And when you understand all these things, it is there are some things in life. I think they've already said this that humans are more of non-verbal communicator than verbal communication. There are many things in the atmosphere that we cannot describe with the words of our mouth. And the same thing is like relationship. When you say love is beautiful, is love physically beautiful? Okay, like I want a child or I want children. These are basic things. These are basic things. Like do we want children? What kind of house should we be planning for? All these things are minor things. But asking a woman, what kind of things do you want in a man? What kind of man do you like? You see the men she works with. Look at her very well. When you go out with her, look at what captures her eyes, what she pays attention to. If you see the things she pays attention to, like for me, the best color of my wife is yellow. The best color of my wife is yellow. She didn't tell me it's yellow. I just watch her. Every single time she sees people dress up and they're moving, whenever someone puts on yellow, she pays attention to that person more. And I'm like, okay, why is she paying attention to yellow? And then I see that whenever we make any dates, like a special day, she kind of want to find a cloth that is yellow. And then that's how I knew her best color was yellow. I didn't ask her what's because why ask when you can study? So when I am able to study it and I can get her a yellow cloth, she appreciates it more that I studied her than questioning her. Lisa says, now that's lovely. Rusty says, I want to be able to work when we have children, so that would mean you would have to be home parent until child is older. That is making a statement. What about what you expect? That's very mindful and beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. So there are many things I kind of do in my home way. And I know Nigerian men, we do all these things naturally. When you said something about a woman having a child and all of that, all these things are necessary. Those particular communications are necessary. But in the aspect of what do you like in a man, everybody can be likable. This is what I believe in relationship. Everybody can be likable. If you build yourself as a man, even if you are not the kind of man that the woman is kind of attracted to, if you study her carefully, you can become that man. Yes, you cannot grow more inches in the idea of maybe your height, but there are many things you can use to complement those things. Expectation from a relationship and a conversation about what you expect should be spoken about on the first date. People would lie. People would lie. Most communication in dating and all those kind of things, most people lie. Most people lie. Study thyself, approve unto God. When you study yourself, you actually know. The only way I know what somebody would not like is basically because I pay attention mostly to the things I don't like. Now, if I'm going to offend you, it will be things that I really do not understand. And when I see, we have a proverb in Nigeria, and it's like when a chicken finds himself in a new environment, it raise one leg up. Or if the rain is falling, you see a chicken raise one leg up. And the reason is basically because the chicken is studying the environment. And when it feels comfortable in the environment, it's going to step down its 2 foot and start moving around. When I see someone who is strange from a different culture, from a different tradition, and the rest of it, I understand my traditions and I understand my culture. And with that, I will be very careful on what are the traditions and the culture of the woman. If they lie, you will see it quicker. You won't. You wouldn't. Lisa says, Rusty, you don't have any woman pursuing you, do you? Oh. Rusty actually has a girlfriend. It is better than spending years in a relationship trying to fine tune it as you go. You need fine tuning. I believe everyone should have counseling prior to marriage, especially in the Western world, to help pull out hidden things or things that have not been reviewed during the dating period. Yes, yes. Um, counseling is a different thing. Counseling is a different thing, and both people have something they need to work upon while they go into relationship, which they have to be prepared for. But I'm saying the idea of we just asking, oh, do you like brushing your teeth twice a day? Do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like this? Or do you want this? Because it depends on the time of their life. If the woman or the man is actually eager to get married, some people would lie. Lisa says you would be surprised, just like I am sometimes. I am in long-term relationship and now have 3 kids, though. Lisa says good stay with her forever. Rosie says if that is about my partner, you will be timed out for such insult. That's a joke between. All right. So counseling is important, just like anyone says. But I'm saying that the purpose why I'm talking about the communication is not like the communication is not important, but I'm saying do not let everything boil down to the communication. You have to study the person more than what you say, because what people say and what they do can be different sometimes. And the idea of counsel must always come from people who are married, who have been in a long time relationship, except you are planning to get married to somebody who there's a possibility that person is going to break up with you any single time. And so when people are moving with a dating coach or therapists that will talk about marriage and the therapists themselves are not married, that's taking advice from a single person just because the person studies some things in the university. That's not the best way to go. So let me come to the end of today's conversation. Hopefully, I'll be uploading some of the videos soon, maybe this evening. With that being said, for those if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, like and share. I really appreciate everyone for joining me today. Lisa and Ron, Sunodun, Rusty, my man, and Eye of Creator, and every other person in between, just like Rusty says. Thank you all. Hope to have a conversation with you probably tomorrow. If I'll be coming live this evening, I don't think so, but I will be live tomorrow, Friday. I'll be live also on Saturday and Sundays. So let's have a great day. Lisa, I don't tell women what I want, as our conversation a few days ago. Have a great day, Rusty, and everyone. See you all in the next one. Adios, amigos. Bye bye for now.